Layla. I'm with the Office of Community-Based Learning and Research. Who here has heard of Community-Based Learning and Research, or CBLR, on campus? Great. How have you heard about us?
Freshman orientation.
Freshman orientation. So you came to one of our sessions before you came on campus, or maybe one of those? Okay, this will be similar. So it'll be a refresher. And anybody else? How do you know about community-based learning, CBLR? Anybody taking a class that has a CBLR component yet? Had a few folks in the last session who did. All right, well, this is an opportunity to learn about community-based learning as well as some other high-impact learning options that you have here at UW-Bothell. We're just one of a few. So now, of course, my thing doesn't work because it's doing this. While you're here at UW-Bothell, you probably already experienced some of the strategies for learning there on your left side. You maybe experienced some collaboration and teamwork in class. The idea of maybe some of you are in our learning communities here. You've got writing intensive courses, you've got seminars, etc. But you've also got an opportunity here at UW-Bothell to participate in other kinds of learning experiences, some of which, like CBLR, can be integrated into your actual classes, and some of which are different, like global learning and study abroad, or undergraduate research where you can go work with a faculty member and support them with their research that they're doing, or maybe even conduct an independent research study. There's opportunities for internships and career services, and the Office of CBLR can connect you with them, as well as capstone projects and courses. I'm going to do my best too, since you just heard from health studies, to kind of just really make some connections too between what I'm sharing with you and health studies, since your mind is already thinking about that a little bit more, because we work pretty closely with the School of Nursing and Health Studies, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So CBLR, what are some of the benefits, as well as these other things that I was mentioning? So the opportunity to actually do some learning that is in a way that's different from in-class learning, right? So beyond reading, beyond in-class discussions, beyond literature review and research papers. That's what CBLR can be for you. So, and all these other opportunities. It's really an opportunity to kind of touch base with your own sense of empowerment, what you stand for, what you're about, what you're interested in learning, what you might be interested in pursuing as a career, and really kind of developing those experiences that you can eventually maybe put on applications, right, for your major, or for graduate school down the road, as well as job applications that you're filling out. Volunteer experience is really important for that.
So I was wondering, I didn't catch the R portion of the acronyms. So
community-based learning and research. Yeah. So opportunities for really kind of developing a really deeper sense of empowerment, discovering kind of what you stand for, opportunities that lead to your own career discernment, jobs, while also connecting to your learning in your classes, discovering passions and talents, and maybe even things that you are not passionate about, which is really just as important as discovering what you are passionate about. And then having experiences that you can put on applications for your major, for graduate school, for fellowships, and then thinking a lot about, maybe how these kinds of experiences can actually help you get scholarships as well and awards. So what we really do encourage you to do is kind of these CBLR, and I'll explain more to you about what CBLR is, study abroad, all of these opportunities, internships, volunteering outside of the classroom, those are all opportunities for you to kind of just dream bigger outside of the classroom. And I like to say that there's kind of like a door that's open to you here through our office, through career services, through global initiatives, all the different services that are here and downstairs in the Student Success Center and throughout the school. You just have to walk through that door, right? So if you're really interested in some of these things that I'm going to mention, then come talk to me and can give you connections to talk to other people too. So what is CBLR? CBLR stands for Community-Based Learning and Research. It is an opportunity within a course to actually work outside of the course and gain experience, real-life experience that connects directly with what you're learning in your class. So you see some pictures here of students that might be doing some field work, maybe for a conservation or a restoration class. Maybe these groups are also kind of doing some studying of or surveying, land surveying. Up at top, there's a health studies kind of oriented photograph. It looks like there might be some, looking, or maybe even it could even be a food pantry actually. Because, you have to kind of sometimes prep if you're doing some work in a food pantry and you're passing out food. You have to kind of be sterile, protect yourself. But anyway, those are some examples. And there are so many more of different ways to get involved through CBLR. Most importantly, I like to say you may have heard of service learning before. So you can think of CBLR as an even deeper way of learning through service. We'd like to talk about it being way more than just a transaction between you and a community partner. Whether you're working on a farm or whether you're assisting students in a school or maybe you're shadowing somebody in a health clinic. It's much more than that. They are really, they are gaining something and you are gaining something. It's a very reciprocal relationship. So, just so you know what CBLR is in terms of a class and how to look for it, if you take a CBLR course here, you will know that you're signing up for it, ideally, if everything is aligned the way it's supposed to be. When you go to the time schedule and it has an S by it, the S stands for service. And the reason why is because all of our time schedules, right, across all 3 campuses kind of use the same codes. So look for an S on the time schedule. That'll tell you a little bit about whether there's service component or a CBLR component attached to the class. If you take a class, and sometimes you'll actually see in the description of the class too, 15 to 20 hours or 40 hours of work outside of the classroom required. So read those things and you'll have a better, deeper understanding of your class and what you're going to, partly what you're going to be expected to do. So you'll be expected to work outside of class as part of your learning. The numbers of hours kind of can vary, usually 15 to 20, but in some upper level courses it's between 40 to 100. So for example, when he was mentioning health studies fieldwork, right, that's one of our CBLR courses that we work closely with health studies on. We're the ones who make connections with the clinics and public health and schools who want to do social skills building, but they want a student to lead, those kinds of activities. That class is 40-hour requirement of field work. And so since CBLR is integrated into coursework, you'll always gain credit for it. It usually, it can be different. It's different depending on the faculty, how much credit goes towards your grade, but you will be graded and evaluated and even asked to kind of reflect on the experiences and connect them with your readings, etc. So it really is it's a part of your learning, a part of your growth. So these are just some examples. I know it's small print, but you can find all of our all CBLR courses that are being offered, and there's usually an average of about 25 to 30 across all of the schools. So we work with faculty in all schools to create CBLR classes and to connect them with over 150 different partners, community partners. Those could be schools, governments, businesses, industries, nonprofits, you name it. We're connecting faculty with those partners so that you all have an opportunity to do that community work. And you can find those classes all the time on our CBLR website. All you have to do is just Google UW CBLR, you'll find it, and then there's a sidebar that you can go to. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to just share with you, I know we've only got 5 minutes, just to get a little look at some different courses here, and then I want to tell you some student stories, and we'll wrap it up. Just some examples of CBLR courses. I'm just going to refer to, since we were talking about health studies, for example, and nursing. This is an upper level nursing class that if you do decide to go into nursing, you can look forward to, much like if you decide to go to health studies, you can look forward to that health studies fieldwork experience and that internship experience. But B Nurse 460 is a really cool class where students are actually already, some of them are experienced nurses, but they get to tackle a problem that working nurses at Providence Regional Medical Center are actually experiencing, and they get to help those nurses solve that problem by doing research. And they present to those nurses at the end of the quarter, and then the nurses go away with that research and they take it back to their clinics and their settings, and they see if they can kind of apply that research to make things kind of better for their clients. So those are just some examples there of some classes. If you can't participate in a class, I want you to also think about looking for opportunities on campus that might be just one-off events. We have a group on campus that you can participate in. It's called Achieving Community Transformation out of our CBLR office. Did anybody go to any of the MLK Week events last week? If you did, if you went to any of the movies or the discussions or service projects, then they're a group of students, they're the ones who coordinated those for the campus, and they have many other opportunities to get involved with civically, voting, conversation. We're going to hopefully have some conversations around the census, some really deep kind of divide about how people feel about the census coming up. So there's going to be all kinds of ways to get involved. And these are all things, one of the things I wanted to just emphasize for you is that all of these experiences are things that you can put on your resume and your application. So think about those things that way. Here's a story about a student named Jason Hampton. He was actually a transfer student. But I think this is a really great story because it's a story about how his CBLR experience actually led to a job. And he came into UW with a background working in hotels and restaurants and whatnot. But he was really interested in environmental conservation, in sustainability. And as part of one of his CBLR classes, he actually partnered with a group called Sustainable Seattle, and he developed a walking tour of Capitol Hill businesses that actually had sustainable business practices. And he invited, it was a public tour. People could actually go on that tour and learn from these businesses what was working for them for the environment. And after he did that for his class, he continued to volunteer with them and go to school. And then he was also working as well. So he continued volunteering, he was working, he was going to school, and he also wanted to take on a little bit more leadership and have the ability, so he joined the UW Garden Committee here on campus. Basically, he grew his network of individuals that he could ask. When he was graduating, he was able to email all these people that he had met and say, hey, I'm graduating and I'm looking for work. If you have anything that you can send my way, please do. And it was his contact at Sustainable Seattle that sent him a job that hadn't even been posted yet, and he interviewed for the position and he got it. Now he works for the Department of Transportation in the city of Seattle. So he really did, you can see that kind of pathway from CBLR to more leadership, to a strong resume, to a job. That too is a way that you can utilize your CBLR should you take some CBLR courses. Here's another story to you about Kalia Wilson. This is a CBLR to graduate school story. So there's so many different stories like this. This is only two, but Kalia took a community psychology class, and she partnered with Planned Parenthood as a women's rights and reproductive health advocate, like out in the community doing outreach around women's rights and reproductive health. And since she was really, she was an education major here, and she went on to spend some time with Voyager Middle School and worked with their North Star mentorship program as part of her upper level applied experience class, which is also a CBLR class. So she worked with them. She took a class also in food justice and partnered with a whole other partner. So she had a real strong resume that referred to experiences outside of the classroom, which made her a very strong candidate for graduate school. And she's currently and probably soon to graduate from Seattle University with a degree in psychology education. So she could go on to being a school counselor, but because of her degree, she might, in her graduate school degree, she might even be able to take a higher leadership position at a school district or something like that if she wanted to work in education. I'm not sure what she's doing, but that gives you an idea too of just like how all these CBLR experiences can really make for a strong resume. So we're located downstairs in the Student Success Center. All you do is check in at the welcome desk if you ever want to talk to me or somebody about connecting with an organization outside of the community to do some volunteer work, or if you want to learn more about CBLR courses. There's some basic information for you. I have drop-in hours from 1 to 2 on Tuesdays and 3:30 to 4:30 on Thursdays, and there's our email. Anybody have any quick questions before you're ready to go? About CBLR. Thanks for bearing with me with the crazy technology and for helping me. I appreciate it.